can you talk a little bit about maybe the pressure going into this movie, and if it's now a relief seeing the reviews coming out of TIFF, 93% on Rotten Tomatoes? It's got to feel great.
Overwhelming.
Yeah,
it's amazing. Going into it, it's like you think it's hysterical because you're in it and you're laughing at all these nuts, especially in the boardroom, and you never know, because you do so many takes, you never know what they're going to keep or what's going to work and what's going to go together. And then to see it at TIFF with that crowd of, God, it was almost 2,000 people.
Yeah,
It was overwhelming, the response that we got from that audience. And it's like, oh my God, this is a lot bigger than I anticipated.
and I think the pressure on the larger sense for me is just the movie of it all, and knowing that Billy, along with Nick, was coming from a labor of love for this movie, and I feel like the crew shares this as well. You're all there to do one task, which is to basically make this dream come true and be a part of it. And yes, it's a gift to you. So the pressure, not that the pressure is on us, but you want this to be everything that they imagined as they wrote, and what Billy is pulling from in his own personal life and tapping into. So to know that when and at the core, just be funny, which is the other thing Billy is a mandate for him. So it's just about coming to the table and helping rise up this piece together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think did you want to add?
In really good hands, like I always felt like everyone in charge kind of knew what they were doing. So that was good.
This movie is, it's a big step in terms of visibility for queer characters across a broad spectrum, but I'm curious for each of you, if you could recall one of the first times maybe you felt represented or seen on TV or in a film when you were younger or growing up or coming up in the industry.
Whew.
If there were. I mean, that's the sad thing.
I feel like I did a lot of mental gymnastics growing up. So I was always like, oh, if I squint, this character reminds me of myself. And if I, sort of add on or take away a few things, then this character feels a lot like me. So one of the big ones for me was Jawbreaker, because there was a character in it who was sort of felt invisible, and then she gets a makeover, and then she becomes the queen of the school, and I was
Fern Mayo.
Yeah, I was like, Fern Mayo, that's me.
Yeah, I think for me it's that question brings up a slightly different journey sometimes with my answer, as what I looked to. The younger part of myself probably wasn't as prepared of what I was feeling when I would see certain things, but the adult in me, and in the context of my timeline, I came out later, but now it's well over 10 years. But even then, I think but this speaks to movies, but I was in a theater company, the Groundlings, and I was surrounded by close friends who were very much living their truth and out, and I really looked to them, what I was feeling at that moment for the first time, which was a community feel. So it was through art that I was really seeing a freedom that I wasn't living yet, a truth that I wasn't embracing myself. Now, the young person in me knows I was watching Silver Spoons and I was obsessed with Jason Bateman and I was in love. Now, but that just saying, for me, my answer is less a movie I saw and a truth that I was feeling, which I hope this movie gives, because this is about friends. This is about a board who are at each other but love each other. I mean, that is a friendship on screen. So I think what I'm describing, I hope it's for anyone young or old who's still living.
And
I think for myself, the two women that I looked up to just be your authentic self was Amanda Bears. When I worked with her back in 94, 95 on Married with Children, I did a bunch of episodes. And then also in 91, when I moved to LA and was doing the very first job that I did, it was called Knights and Warriors. It was like a medieval American gladiator show. And across the set next to ours was Roseanne. And at that time, Sandra Bernhardt was playing Nancy working in the diner, and that's how we met. And she's like one of my first friends, and I just loved being around her because she didn't care where we were or who we were around. She was herself. And if you didn't like it, too bad. You know, I mean, it wasn't like it was some crazy thing, but that's one thing I admire about her is she is who she is. And I love that. And I swore that I would do my best to be myself and be my authentic self. And that's all you got to please is yourself at the end of the day. But the hard thing too is dealing with a rejection. And it's like, well, if someone's rejecting you, then that's not someone I needed to be around. So
right, screw them.
Yeah, I have other choice words, but I'm a lady tonight.
Too. And how was it? Did you get to work or see Amanda on set? Because she's great in this, but you don't have scenes together.
We missed each other by like a day on set, but we there was a cast and representative screening in Los Angeles.
Okay.
And I saw her there. I had not seen her in since 95.
Right, so, since the show is on.
Yeah, so 26 years, is it? Mm-hmm. It's crazy.
Wow. And for each of you, your scenes together are great because it does represent this wide spectrum, and being queer isn't a monolith. But what do you feel you were able to bring to your scene? Was it collaborative? Were you able to kind of bring your own experience to it?
You guys go ahead.
It was super collaborative. It was a lot of building off of what everyone else was saying, and that was really fun for me.
I love what Eve just said. Is one of the things I was going to say is like there were 6 sounding boards in that room.
Yeah.
And when we were at the point where we were improv or just going off on certain things, it just, everybody in that room was so hilarious. It was like we fed each other. Do you know what I mean? Because it's just, you wanted that other, like with Jim, when he's next to me and he's going up on this rant, I wanted him to just keep going because it was so funny.
Now, TS was saying the outtakes are going to be great for this. So,
oh, absolutely.
Yeah. No, they will be. Yeah,
I need to spin up that.
Yeah. No, I think I think improv works on all cylinders when the script is super, super solid and the characters know who they are. That's when you're going to get great improv. And so to Billy and Nick's accolades, they brought us to a table that was well set for us to play. And that it's so often improv can go off the rails if you don't have that foundation.
Yeah, I believe it couldn't have been better written.
Yeah.
No, it's such a good movie. You guys you're all great in it. I just want to ask for you if you had favorite rom-coms before. Obviously this one is finally doing some more representation that I think a lot of us didn't have before, but were there favorites that you had before?
I think one of my favorites, and I'm just going to throw it out there, is Overboard.
So good.
Oh my gosh.
That's one of my favorite movies.
I think that was a pandemic watch. I mean, meaning that I watched it for an upteenth time.
Right.
I completely forgot about that as rom-com, which it totally is.
I mean, Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn, of course, they're off-screen magic too, but it's just so damn funny.
Yeah.
I liked My Best Friend's Wedding mainly because I thought, I guess Rupert Everett's in there, right? So yeah, so we get some representation. But because I don't think she gets in the end. I think it's like a slightly twist there. And I thought, like, when you write a character like Cameron Diaz is supposed to, by definition, be the person that we're rooting against.
But she's so charming.
But I thought that was a nice little twist on that character.
Yeah, for me it's always Pretty Woman. I just can't get enough.
Classic.
And another film where like there are the 2 leads who are amazing, but then everyone who they've sort of put around them is just expertly cast.
Just like this movie.
Good. We were fishing for that. Good.
Thank you all for your time today. Have a good one and congrats on the film. It's a blast.
Thank you, Eddie.
Yeah.